Hey chestnuts! Today we have a ultra super special game. No, it's a pretty cool game. Um, it changed everything. Well, let's see what happened. We're gonna analyze Carlsen Anand, that World Championship match, blast from the past. How does Carlsen deal with this beast? Let's check it out. D4, knight to f6. D4. E6. Okay, knight to c3. Then we have bishop to b4. The Nimzo Indian. Right, f3. Oh, going for the Moke variation. It's sharp. Look how sharp that is. Look at that. It's so sharp. No, not just because it's pointy, but it's a very tactical line, right? That's what sharpness is. d5. a3. Right, look at all these pieces contesting the center now for black. And then here bishop takes c3, doubling the pawns, right? But white's center is reinforced. Okay, this is classic Nimzo. Nothing special here yet. Nothing special. Carlsen can't be special every move. Okay, he's pretty special, but not every move. d5. He takes d5. E takes d5. Still looking pretty standard. e3, except for maybe f3. It's going for something. Here Anand was desperate. All right, he was going. It's do or die for Anand. It's do or die. So he's going for some pretty crazy stuff. D, um, D4 here, which is what Carlsen played. It's a very interesting move. Very positional, covering these squares right here, right, gaining space. You could also keep this tension and just castle, right? But Carlsen here chose c4, very positional. Knight to e2, very flexible move rather than going to f3. Okay, this is usually when you want to start pushing pawns right here, right, in the king side, and just if you're desperate, you gotta do some desperate stuff. Maybe without the hyperventilation, but just some desperate stuff. Knight to c6, g4. Oh, whoa. Okay, castle. You could also play a move like h6 to stop this, right? And then maybe this line would happen. Bishop g2. This is what I mean, this is not, according to Kasparov, this is not as strong. This is actually a line from Kasparov Polgar. It went exactly like this. Knight to a5, castle, knight to b3. Ooh, there's a very popular theme in this variation. Um, comes a Seamus variation. Rook to a2, castle. Um, Knight to g3, reinforcing this space. So black has pretty good chances on the queen side, right? Attacking so many squares. And white's pretty congested on the queen side, but the king side is looking dangerous. Right? Very double-edged opening. Bishop d7. Queen to e1. Whoops, that's not e1. e1. Rook to e8. Alright, so alright, Kasparov eventually won this game with some crazy tactics. But so this is how it could go if black played h6 in this move. Alright, but that's not what happened. Carlsen chose the castle. Alright, and then we have bishop g2 here by Anand. Pretty much the only way you could develop this bishop without congesting all your pieces, because you still want to play, this move, and then still want these pawns to have room. If you put the bishop here, this pawn might not have as much room. Okay, then knight to a5 for Carlsen, going for the same theme that Judith went for. Okay, castle. Knight to b3. Rook to a2, because you don't want that yummy rook be taken. b5. knight 2, knight to g3. Then we have a5. Then here we have g5. Anand's going, "You won't take my championship away from me. You won't. I need it." No, he's a pretty accomplished guy. He probably doesn't think that, but you know, it's nice to feel like there was some drama. There probably was. Knight to e8, e4. Knight takes c1 because Carlsen sees that this is I guess this bishop can get activated, right, and it'll cause more havoc than this knight is worth. I mean, this knight looks strong, but in reality, even though it does congest some things, perhaps it's not as strong. And this bishop can possibly be more flexible, right? The knight's kind of stuck here, can't really go back. Whereas this bishop has suddenly emerged from the depths. So Carlsen chose to capture this. Queen captures, and then we have rook to a6. Woo! Very flexible move. And then Anand goes e5. Where you can also play rook to b2 to apply pressure to here, right? This pawn. However, that does go a little against the theme of the opening, which is attacking this kingside attack that we're seeing. Alright, so e5 was played, and then knight to c7. And then we have f4, and then b4 by e4. And then this move, a takes b4, got a little bit of criticism. Many commentators said that Anand should have tried to solidify the queen side like this, but chose to open out the position a little more. The queen side, a takes b4. All right. You could also play like a rook b2 and then rook b6 to cross, or you know, black could play rook b6 to reinforce it. And there's this f5 move continuing to push, g6 to, oops, g6 to stop this push, right? Okay, but that's not what happened. Let's get out of Fantasyland and back to reality. Okay. Alrighty. So we had a takes b4 and then a takes b4. Rook takes a6. You could also play rook to f2 to really barrel down here. So, but I guess Anand thought that this rook had way too much power here. We left out. So rook to a6, and maybe also it's interesting positionally because now this knight looks like it's stuck in the corner and it's not as strong as or inflexible as it was here. So, right, f5. You could also play you could also play c takes b4, which goes into this line, then knight takes, and then f5, right? Then we have g6 to protect it. So this is also possible. Alright, and then now we have b3, queen to f4. And look, have you noticed something? I'll give you a few seconds to find out. What has Carlsen not moved this whole game yet? He has not moved his queen or the bishop. Oh, this is pretty crazy. I mean, they do have power, you know, right here, but it's pretty crazy for a game this big, which was pretty much, if Carlsen wins this, it's pretty much, the match is pretty much over. It's really difficult or almost impossible for Anand to catch up. So, not even moving the queen and bishop. That's pretty intense. That's pretty intense. All right, queen to f4, and then we have knight back to c7. I think that this attack might be a little too strong to reinforce it. Then we have f6. This knight h5 move is also possible, and it could make it like this position super sharp. Maybe you could go knight to b5 afterwards, and queen to d2, queen to a5. Now there's this queenside push. Right, knight to f6 check. This is actually pretty crazy. Very. G takes f6. Right, g6. Oh, goodness gracious. Then queen to h6. Uh-oh. So perhaps, Carlsen didn't want to take his chances when the championship is close to his grasp. So f takes g6. Queen to a7. Yeah, looking pretty dicey, right? Alright, well, let's get out of fantasy land for a little bit. f6. We have g6 to solidify this position. Now Anand has attacking chances on this, on the spot, right? Then we have queen to h4, knight to e8. Then we have queen to h6. Oh man, look at that! It looks super dangerous. b2, rook to f4, then b1 check queen, and this. This is where things got pretty intense. All right, and Anand makes a blunder. Now I'll give you some time here. You can take a few seconds to see what Anand should play. Okay, if you saw the right sequence, congrats. Maybe you should have played Carlsen, and maybe you would have actually turned this match around. Who knows? No, you wouldn't. But but it's good to dream sometimes. Okay, bishop to f1 was the right sequence. Queen to d1, and then we have rook to h4, and then now queen to h5 would have to be here to block. Knight takes h5, g takes h5, rook takes, and then oh my goodness, this attack looks intense. But at least you got rid of that queen, right? It's still not easy to win, since now this bishop can come here and like reinforce this square, and then difficult for white to find a win. There's still some, but at least it's better than straight up losing with this move. Knight to f1. Oh no! And after queen to e1, Anand just resigned, because now now there are literally two queens on this board. This queen can get activated anytime. This bishop wasn't even activated the whole game. So I mean, so I don't know. I mean, I don't want to say that Anand lost with queen and bishop odds, but this is the closest you could get to losing. Like that. Crazy stuff, right? Insane in the membrane. Okay, because now if you try to go for this attack, rook to h4, you have this pawn that was generated by a queen, right? And that can just capture it, and you'd have no attack. And then there's nothing you can do here. Like, you're down a rook. White can just get activated at any time. So even though Carlsen's pieces are at Fisher random levels, nothing you can do to win. Alrighty, chestnuts. Thanks for going through this game with me, having fun with it and learning. And if you liked it enough, just hit that like button like a clock, smash it like the clock if you like doing that. Also there's a subscribe button. Don't you want to see this face again? Notification bell too. Like Pavlov's conditioning, like a psychological ring. When you will see my face. Okay, thank you all, and we will see you next time. We're gonna have some cool games, maybe related to artificial intelligence.